Right, let's see. Oh, there we are, there we are.
Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your We just arrived.
Hi, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are now about to get Joan on the stand. Let's go. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garridet. And I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh dearie me. Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Is that her husband? Oh yeah, okay. So he's here too? Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your needle? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Garridet? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Have seen my share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? Were you not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Oh, well, yes. Quite. It's not his fault. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a jury to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Okay. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. It was some paper that fell out of a second-hand book that has a lady's name on it. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon I headed out though and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed even 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that body thing in the victim's bed really was one of us, you'll have a job proving it, I think. Yeah, I want to know what that chip of the knife is. Sounds as though it was quite a battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. Yeah. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a knot's whisker from death at any moment. Are we still talking about marital quarrel here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Benzix may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Let's press everything, I think. Okay.
Hold it!
The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. I guess we are just keeping it to ourselves, maybe? Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly,
It all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Gary Depp. A rather passionate note, in fact. Okay, never mind. We are not keeping it to ourselves, I guess. But Mrs. Gary Depp found the note, discovering her husband's little secret, and she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it too.
What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. It's not his fault. I see, when the chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. Yeah, he's kind of protecting his wife. And besides, half of it was wide off the mark anyway. A likely story? It was the wrong name. These waters run very deep. What transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Okay. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine really. Just so happens there was some bath water around that evening, so I sloshed it, about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. I was at a three-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see.
The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although that little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. I don't recall seeing any bottled water.
The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean?
Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off,
is he? Have you actually seen the state of the man?
I believe he uses all of his income to buy books.
Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him.
Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I'd noticed one or two. Oops. Hang on. Knock the candlestick. Did I press this?
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. That is most certainly not true of a Susato to take down, Mr. Naruhodo.
How did she know I was thinking that? So please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day?
In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I am no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, towel, and a sponge, a napkin.
Oh?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Gary Depp. Wait, don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon? Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Nothing of
any significance, no. She said a barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, the fire poker, I seem to recall. Wow. Ouch. And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with every volley. Good grief, woman. We're not at home now. This is a court of law.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dearie.
What's she even doing with a teapot in here?
Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened, huh? Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hand, as usual, at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. Well, what's wrong with it? Oh, I guess the wrapping around the pipe. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. You would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. You want to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what we should make of this account. Could be important. What if the knife was thrown at it? The defense believes Mr. Garadeb's remarks just now to be of great significance. Why are you objecting here? Oh, it's raining now. This war veteran... I don't know whether you can hear the rain. This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Well, why are you objecting here? Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one?
In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Oh, well, I don't see why not.
Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady.
Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Pipe has been entered.
How about you didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo? No, go ahead. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down.
Oh no, it's fine. Let's go. Alright, let's see. Oh, there we are, there we are. But let's just look at this first. It looks to be in a sorry state with that bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason it feels slightly ominous to me, like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same as blue as Mr. Garadeb's dressing gown.
I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garadeb, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this.
Either that or he can't afford to replace it. Don't look down on people. It might... Ooh, okay. But I want the cheap here too. There's a small nick out of the bowl here. Look, it appears to have been made relatively recently.
And see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it? It's clearly a well-loved pipe.
Yes, you're right. Seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with getting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye though, because it's clearly new. Oh, is it very new? How do you know? Anyway, this.
Oh,
something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there.
Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think.
Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal.
It's metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
Tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Oh yeah. Oh, it's out? Oh, it's out. Hang on, let me finish this first. Anything else? No. We have one more here. This is a tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
It looks like the tip of a blade or something.
The tip of a blade? Yeah.
Something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't really know. There's just something niggling me, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Perhaps in that case, it would be wise to examine some of the other pieces of the evidence again.
I did. Like, does it want me to go back to the knife? I could do that. Right, let's take it out. Yeah, let's take it out. Okay.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
Wait, part of it's missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this?
Ah, that's a tiny fragment of metal that we found inside Mr. Garadeb's pipe.
Yes, and just maybe.
Oh my, it's a perfect fit.
Somehow I just knew it. Okay, good. Did update and update? Perfect fit, okay. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well, thank you for that, rebuttal Mr. Garadeb. Now we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim?
Hold
Sorry, would you care to elaborate?
Nothing to say really. Rather partial to a sport of carving, you see, pipes and whatnot. Fishing tackle, you know, the sort of thing.
It's a passion we both share. I like to carve little wooden trinkets too. And then there's my leather work. Did you? Are you the one who carved?
Do you carve pipes? Sorry to say, we're always losing knives about the place, and we have dozens of the things.
They sell them at the market, sometimes 20 for the price of 19. Needless to say, I snapped them up. John prefers to use 2 knives at mealtimes too, instead of a knife and a fork.
Oh, that's tough. Now, Joan, we don't want people thinking I'm sort of something. What? With some sort of what? Savage, okay. Here we go with the scaldings.
I imagine it's because they don't want to believe it. They can't bear the thought that it might have been one of their knives that injured the victim.
Which is entirely understandable, of course, but still. Go on with your testimony, witnesses. Sir. With that ball eating in. So you have no intention of admitting it was your knife unless we can produce proof. Uh-oh. Even though there is no other credible possibility Mr. Natsume is innocent. You forget, my Nipponese friend, that it has yet to be established that the accused is not responsible for the attack. As if I could forget. If only there was some way to know who had handled the knife. I don't know. But I suppose wizardry like that is just a dream. No, of course. No, wait. Wait. It would be Joan, of course. Perhaps you're thinking of fingerprinting mirrors, Naruhodo. Did it exist already? What? You mean it's not a dream? That sort of wizardry really exists?
Whenever people touch anything, they leave behind a unique pattern from their skin, or so they say.
But I can't see anything. There are already countries in the world where these so-called fingerprints can be used as evidence. Lord Strongheart is currently discussing the matter at the Ministry of Justice. Yes, I believe we are rapidly approaching an era of scientific methods of investigation.
But for now, we shall have to find an alternative method of proving our assertion. That this knife found in the victim's bag was originally in Mr. and Mrs. Garydep's house.
If only I could transplant this whole incident to several years in the future. It would still be difficult, because people already knows of fingerprinting then and criminals would be more careful. That's the extent of their testimony, is it?
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I think we've heard all this before, to be honest. I can't say I'm particularly confident that we'll be able to prove anything new from this testimony.
But in this cross-examination, it's absolutely essential that we establish how this knife came to be at the scene of the incident.
Yes, I know.
I'm sure both of them must be feeling very worried. Worried that it was in fact a knife belonging to one of them that caused the victim's injury.
If we could even find a tiny shred of evidence to support that theory, it would clinch this trial for us. It would explain everything.
Yes, it would.
So for Soseki-san's sake, we must find that last crucial piece of evidence. I do hope the victim will wake up. Okay, so most likely plenty of knives. Okay, so maybe on here I have to present either the knife or the blade. Do I present the knife? Maybe the blade. Perhaps? Can I present this? Is this the correct way to present? It is a new thing. Mr. Garydup, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can't? Used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course, but it was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days, I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Why?
Oh, he does. Dear me, it's rather weary, being asked about every other letter in every other word.
You must be very dusty. Oh, be very dizzy. Be very busy. What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? Inside the pipe, weren't you looking? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? Yes. I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? The knife. Oh, sorry. The knife.
Take that!
This is a knife that was found in the victim's bag. If you look out closely, you will see that there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrideb's pipe. I'm trying to think, because she throws the knife, it hits his pipe, then wouldn't it have, you know, when it hits his pipe, doesn't it just fall to the ground? The knife? No? Like you would have to throw it a second time? Or does it? Wait, I'm trying to imagine. John throws the knife at him. Then the tip of it gets broken off his pipe. That would stop the flying? Or does it just continue flying? Hang on. I'm not certain. We'll see. Whoa. Ha. Good grief. The Van Ziggs. I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match, yes. Good golly gosh. Ooh, what happened to his rope at the back? I guess he said too much, perhaps. Order. Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery witch but? This is no magic, my lord. This is called logic. This is a miracle. No, it's called logic. A miracle? So Van Zix has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord, the crucial point we have to ask ourselves is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrideb's pipe?
Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with whatever soft projectiles she did, yes. Bit weird, but alright. It would never have been sent flying unless it... You see? Okay, let's say it hit here until it broke. How did the blade, fall this way? Or did it hit this and then this thing hit something else and broke? Oh dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, maybe he'll explain it better, Mrs. Garrett had flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrett and stood striking the pipe in his hand at the time, okay? Which caused the tip to break off, of course. Oh Lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrett's pipe. I would love to see them animate these parts so that we can see better. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. Yeah. And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. Wait. After losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. Oh, okay. Oh. In short, this knife which fell from the window of the Garrett's house is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no.
Objection!
Yes. Why is the back of his rope burnt? A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points possibly arranged to create an something. And what? To create an almost possible vintage, okay? Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. What do you have to say now? Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle I fear is corked. Because you see... Ow. It's spoilt by an insurmountable inconsistency. Insurmountable what? Lord Venzix, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her bag. Okay. Yes, in her. And... oh. Oh, there's no sharp point. Is that it? That's right, you silly little man. Now journalism. What are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife had struck her, it had fallen from above. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Okay, so here's the thing here. Alright. So here's where my theory comes in. She was picking up the book. That's why it fell on her back. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. Order. Quite right, you see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. Well, we can do it. His last forwards, look. I knew it. I never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know, though. What really did happen? It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. No, it's not. No, I'm fine. It's simple. We were so close I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. No. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory still stand. Will stand? Miss Fusato. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank.
But if the path you are on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record. I'm sure all the information you need is there.
Yeah, I'm ready. Seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. A tacit acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. No, it's not. Why is his back burnt? Seriously. This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. Are we having some sort of brain blast right now? It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. Let's go. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Unless... Oh, okay. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Yes, we do. Goodness. Utter madness. I'm sorry for you. It was an accident. Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. Phew. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... We need to show the grip.
Take that!
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book? Is that not Mr. Garrett's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as well, we all now know, it was a police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Weren't you paying attention? He said he replicated it. It was already in her hands. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true. However, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But, you know, if Constable Beat made one single mistake, then we would have lost this. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand?
Oh well, sir. That's because of how I found it. When I first ran over to the scene, this victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
In other words, the victim had already picked up the book of her own volition. And clearly that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh dearie me! I guess falling on her back is better than falling on her head through her scalp. She might still be saved now. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrett household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment. The young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garrett. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up.
Yes, and that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh, heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, the knife fell. What position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book. Yeah. Unfortunate.
The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. Better than her head, though. At the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green was the defendant, Mr. Suzuki Natsume. Well, I never! It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ah. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Well, Mr. Miss and Mrs. Kirida, it's just an accident. It's an accident. Just take it. Own up. The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean.
Poor Mrs. Garrydap. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it?
I don't know if you will get charged for anything, but okay.
I took full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. John dear.
It's alright, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry.
Oh, she fainted. Oh, got her. That's sweet. Lord Van Zix, what news of Mrs. Garrydap? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could have easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. I think they need to go for counseling. There is some good news, however, my lord. I just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Oh, now she is conveniently awake? Wait. What happened to Mrs. Garrydap again? Okay. Prepare themselves for consequence. Yeah, okay. They might get charged. Her condition is improving steadily and our doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. Oh, okay, not yet then. Strange, we've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her.
How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems. Let's go visit her and tell her about all this. How about that?
Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Suzuki Natsume. Been a while since I've seen you. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. Yeah, everybody should apologize, not just to the judge. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes. Yeah, actually, you should have called for help. I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Everyone's sure she was dead.
Yes, Constable Pitt said the same thing, didn't he? He thought that she had been killed too.
I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog. Like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him.
Yes, poor man.
So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Yeah, you should. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires, and for that I am truly sorry. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think, one that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions, but thanks to Lord Van Zix and our young lawyer here from the east, the chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Hey. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? Let's go, fire. As a foreman of the jury, I can assure you, we've reached a fair and just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
Well, I didn't suspect a woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in the inn for the old bin while she's out of action, you know. But I don't know what her decision would be. This is mean. I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work, but well, it's about time. Yeah, go back to your wife. I'll say I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Yeah. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Good. Fireworks? Let's get the fireworks. Let's get the fireworks. Wow. Don't mind me, I dropped a number of things. Yeah, not guilty. Fireworks? Let's go, fireworks. It's a bit dangerous to set off fireworks inside a building, but alright. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh yes, Lotso. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture, and may you never again be brought before me. Oh yes, sir, of course. On my life, I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to this. I hope so too. Thank you, counsel. Court is adjourned. I really hope he doesn't. Okay. Oh, look Wait, you mean me? Yeah, he has been calling us Locum, right? Not that I know what it means, quite. Of course, is there another Locum here? Is there even one? What is it anyway?
Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it?
Hang on, I'm gonna just search what's locum. One moment. Okay, a locum is a person who temporarily takes over the duties of another person, especially a physician or clergy member. So it means placeholder. Alright. We are place holding for our friend, I guess? What's wrong with using my actual name?
At last I'm free.
It's joyous, joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation. Heidi, hearty, happiness, hurrah!
Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted.
Would it be so hard just to say that then? Let him be. Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink.
Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. What happened to the weird blondie that we saw outside his house? What was that? Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal, locum, loyal. Yes. I mean, as I said before, I've just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering bleak brick buildings, and from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at the little hunchback. Oh. Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench up before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roofs, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born." Well, that's very flattering, and we are very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Oh, there you are, my dear fellows. Is this the blondie? No, okay. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. You're too late. Well, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I am here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh, is she awake now? Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo. And I wish you the very best of luck. No, we're done. It's just finished. What? No, then my haste was in vain. Wow, it's you. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, have you met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Sherlock Sholmes. You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you peace of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Aha. Has she been taken to hospital more urgently? I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. Constable Beat too? Constable Beat could have checked whether she's really dead, but he didn't. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Oh. Priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really. But that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you've heard an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny, and it would seem you were not even found guilty. He was in danger. It wasn't entertaining for him, but there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. What? Ah, Lord Venzix. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. I hope not. It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I'll protect you. Hiya! Not on us. With a perfectly executed Susato takedown, it's not like he's with us. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Are you gonna write a letter? Or going there? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland and I guess... Oh,
It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it.
That's very touching, Mr. Natsume.
Or in perhaps less built terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world, escape the terror of the Reaper's curse.
That's not it at all.
The more I learn of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Hang on, actually, I thought about it. I feel like the name Natsume Soseki is familiar. Let me just search it up. Yeah, see here? Natsume Soseki, 9 February 1867 to 9 December 1916. Yeah, so it's actually a real novelist. It's a real novelist. I can't believe they actually based it off a real person. That's interesting. So he wrote, he's best known for his novels Kokoro Bochan, I Am a Cat, Kusamakura, and his unfinished work Light and Darkness. Scholar of British literature and writer of haiku, kanji, poetry, and fairy tales. Interesting. So this happened somewhere between 1867 and 1916, I guess. All right. When did he start writing though? Do we have? His literary career began in 1903 when he began to contribute haiku renku. But okay, so public success of his satirical novel I Am a Cat in 1905. Okay, so he began in 1903 to contribute haiku, etc. Maybe this is slightly before 1905 then. He's gonna write I Am a Cat? Perhaps? Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san could be an interesting read. Yeah, I just received some sort of notification. Hang on. And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your... We just arrived. Alongside your mustache temperature. Why would we? We just arrived.
A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet.
And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? Are you offering for us to stay at your building, perhaps?
That's right.
But we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us.
I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted.
Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? I hope not. Oh, but what it lacks is in windows. It more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit.
Oh my, an evil spirit?
Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. Well, we'll think about it if that's alright. How about Sholmes? Yeah, okay. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me?
Really?
Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Why, did the girl go away? Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Oh, okay, so I guess not with the girl then. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. Oh, you're so ready for it, huh? You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of.
We have, right? Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words.
So suggesting we look at elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. Oh, that's nice. And you must come to Mr. Natsume, I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes.
Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long.
Somebody's happy.
Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume, it's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Yeah. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again on one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then I'll be a successful author. Oh yeah, I just read about it. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I've little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Is anything gonna happen? Oh my goodness. Okay, here's the attic. Actually, it doesn't look so bad. It doesn't look so bad. It looks livable. Quite big. The ceiling is taller than I would have imagined, I guess. So this
Is to be our new office, yes.
our office? I rather like the sound of that.
Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it?
But to spruce things up a bit, I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we are getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh, he took off his hat. Okay.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it.
It's so weird to see him without the hat. Nice hair, but a bit weird without the hat. Like, I'm not used to that. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Miss Natsume arrives. We'll have a lot to celebrate.
Iris, you must let me help you.
Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad. Splendid.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Okay. Those are precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at this premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Go on. I would like to know more. Sorry. London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. It looks so different without the hat. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Okay. I'm still curious about that one guy we met for a short while. I guess we'll see him next episode, maybe? Okay, so what's gonna happen is we will now end this episode here and we will start a new episode the next time. Thank you for watching and goodbye.